Hello, my name is Uma Harathi. I have secured All India Rank 3 in UPSC Civil Services Examination 2022. I did my BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Hyderabad. I graduated in 2017, and since my graduation, I have been preparing for this examination. Coming to the strategy, I do not have any single formula to sum up my strategy. I would say understanding the demand of the exam and making small improvements everywhere, and also practicing a lot because it's a competitive exam would summarize my strategy. Coming to the prelims exam, I believe for prelims, practice is the most important thing. After finishing my basics textbooks, which are generally referred by all the students, I used to emphasize a lot on writing mock tests. I used to solve nearly 60 to 70 mock tests before every prelims. This helped me ensure that I'm able to practice a lot of techniques and revise in a very efficient manner. Coming to the main strategy, I struggled for a while to secure better marks in mains. So what I emphasized this time was presentation of my answers. I started writing in a brief manner in bullet points, and I included a lot of examples which I feel add value to whatever we are trying to explain. I had prepared introductions and conclusions beforehand for all the syllabus topics, and I used them in the actual exam irrespective of what question was asked on that particular topic. My introduction and conclusion remained the same. And secondly, practicing a lot. So I wrote nearly 25 to 30 full length tests before appearing for the mains examination. So I would say these small value additions and presenting your answer in a good way, because the person who's checking your paper should feel like reading your answer and awarding marks. This should be your mindset as well. So present your answers well and practice a lot. Whatever you think of doing in the actual exam, you should have implemented it again and again in the mock tests, so that when you go to the actual exam, you're on a autopilot mode, just executing perfectly. Talking about answer writing, the first and the foremost thing is to address the demand of the question. So unless the demand of the question is met, marks will not be given. And secondly, even when you are writing in a way the demand is fulfilled, you have to also make sure that you're presenting it well. So earlier I used to write in a paragraph kind of format or not have any format per se. So this time around I changed that. Like I mentioned before, I started writing in bullet points. I tried to include a lot of examples. I tried to make diagrams whenever I can. I used flow charts, all the regular stuff that you keep hearing. But I made sure that I was doing these in each and every answer. I basically prepared introductions and conclusions well before. So for every syllabus topic, I had these introductions and conclusions. And this actually helped me improve my speed in the final exam as well, because when let's say if a question is coming from separation of powers, my introduction and my conclusion were already ready. So no matter what the question was, I will address the demand in the body, but my introduction and conclusion are already decided, and I used to finish them in just a matter of seconds. I think making notes is extremely important for this exam. At least I felt that it can make or break things. So how do you make notes? Focus on the syllabus points. See, all we have to do is prepare as per the syllabus. So let's say if the syllabus has a point called separation of powers, then try to make one A4 size sheet notes on this. So how do you go about making notes? So you can start with some simple questions such as, what is separation of powers? Why is it important? What are the recent judgments on separation of powers? What are some of the challenges that this separation of powers doctrine has seen in the recent times? And do we have any suggestions for committees to improve this idea or its implementation in the country? And some conclusion at the end. Whenever you pick a topic from the syllabus, try to ask, like, what would anybody who looks at this topic ask? So post some 4 or 5 questions and try to make sure that you're finding answers to these 4 questions in a very brief way. So this is how your note should be. And do not make notes textbook wise. I would say always make notes syllabus points wise, especially for mains, and keep it very concise. If your notes is long and large, you cannot revise it. So stick to one syllabus point, one A4 size sheet. This is what worked for me. So I think this should be fine. Coming to timetable, it's very important to utilize our time properly. We don't have to spend 10 or 15 hours to study, but whatever hours we are putting in, we have to make sure that we are getting like quality amount out of it. I used to plan extensively. I had macro plans for month wise. I also had micro plans which went as low as like hourly plans, and I had targets for every day. So I made sure that I'm finishing these targets. So I like to study early in the morning. So I used to start my day in the morning and start studying until evening or so, taking small breaks in between. And by evening, I used to stop studying, and then after that, I used to go play badminton or go for a run, or sometimes do yoga or cook. So all these extracurricular activities helped manage my stress better and also helped me focus better the next day morning when I sit to study. So I would say it's not the hours that are important, but make sure you know what you're doing in how many ever hours that you're putting in. So that clarity is very important. So plan well and execute your plan well. Have doable targets and make sure you also have a good peer group so that you can hold each other accountable for your daily targets. Some of the do's and don'ts in this examination. First, let's talk about do's. First thing, please understand the demand of the exam. Do not jump in without understanding the demand of the exam or having a strategy. That way, it will take you very long to clear the exam. Secondly, have a good peer group. You can share the burden of making notes and all other things. You can hold each other accountable. And third, have a sense of balance. So you don't have to study for 16 hours a day. 7 or 8 hours is more than enough. And try to invest the rest of the time in productive activities such as sports or your hobbies. This way you'll have a sense of balance. You'll be a happy person. And secondly, coming to the don'ts. The first don't is do not read too much. Please focus on syllabus and previous year's questions. Anything outside this is none of our business. So read only how much ever is needed, nothing more, nothing less. And secondly, do not ignore your emotional well-being. This process tends to take time for many. So and dealing with failures, dealing with setbacks will take a toll on your emotional health. So pay attention to your emotional hygiene. Try to read some self-help books or open up with your friends and family so that you're not under a lot of pressure. Do not feel pressurized. This is just an exam at the end of the day. You may clear it, you may not clear it. So just give your best and please do not forget that it's just an exam. It's only an exam. So it is my 5th attempt. That means I failed several times before reaching this rank 3. So it is quite normal to have lows. In fact, I faced such lows on a daily basis. I used to feel underconfident. I used to question my own abilities. I also questioned my career choices as to why I was here, why was I not doing something else. And I used to compare myself with those around me who are progressing in whatever fields that they have chosen. This is all very normal, but just keep telling yourself that you're here for a reason. Working for something you're passionate is a success in itself. So keep reminding yourself of that. And secondly, to manage the lows, have a good peer group, because that way you can share whatever you're feeling. They will understand because they are also in the same process. Try to open up with your family. In my case, it was my family's unconditional support and belief in me that led me forward and which helped me move through my lows. So I would say please open up with your family, open up with your friends so that they can support you whenever you're feeling low. As long as you do not share what you're feeling, nobody else can understand what you're going through and come for help. So please open up, and it's nothing wrong to fail. I failed so many times. It's high time that we normalize failures. As long as we are learning from our failures, we are just in the right direction. So keep working hard. perseverance is a thing, and do persevere. I do not think coaching is necessary for this examination. Anybody can prepare by their own if you understand the demand of the exam. So we have syllabus, we have previous year's questions. These two are more than enough to understand what this exam is and what it is demanding from whoever is preparing for the examination. Once you catch the demand of the exam, then you do not need somebody else's support to understand the demand of the exam. But coming to practice tests or mock tests and etc., yes, we can take support from any coaching institute. So to sum it up, I would say coaching is not necessary, but if you feel that you need some external support at any point of your preparation, you may go ahead and take, but be very conscious. It has to be your own strategy, your own independent strategy. You have to be moving based on that strategy. You cannot just get influenced by whatever gyan you're getting from outside. So if you're conscious of that, then you will thrive, whether inside coaching or outside coaching. For those who are preparing for the examination, here's something I learned that you might find useful. First, please understand the demand of the exam. Understand what the exam requires, what each stage requires. Evolve a strategy. Listen to how many ever topper videos you want, but find a common denominator and evolve a strategy of your own. Only after understanding the exam, evolving a strategy, you should step into the preparation. Otherwise, you will be stuck in the cycle for too long. Secondly, have a sense of balance. This is an exam at the end of the day. Do not forget that. So try to have a life outside this exam as well. So develop good hobbies or whatever hobbies you have and pursue them sincerely. Maintain your physical health and mental health. All of these are very important to succeed. And thirdly, persevere. Do not give up. In this examination, it can happen that despite giving your best, you may not be seeing results in the first few attempts. But don't worry, just continue working hard and you will see success if you are sincere in your preparation. So these are some of the things that I learned, and I think they may be useful to you as well. Coming to the optional, I would like to emphasize a bit more here. In my initial attempts, my optional was geography. However, I could not get marks in geography for whatever reason. So I switched to anthropology in this attempt. So this is my first attempt with anthropology as the optional. So I will tell you what mistake I did earlier while choosing optional. So I did not go through different optionals and try to understand, which suits my interests or in which subject that I can put more hours in. I did not do any of the groundwork. Right away, I just thought geography would be a good option and went for it. Please don't do such a mistake. What I'm trying to say is, while selecting an optional, please be very conscious. Go through the syllabus of different optionals and try to evaluate for yourself. Am I interested in the subject? Can I put so many hours in this subject? How direct are the questions being asked? How long is the syllabus? Can I finish it in whatever time I have? Do I have material or textbooks available for this particular optional? Do I have a peer group in this optional? Do I have support of or any guidance for this optional? All these aspects should be taken into consideration while selecting an optional, because optional score, if you score well in optional, your rank will be very good. So try to be very, very conscious and deliberate while choosing an optional. Don't just take optional based on what the trend is or what everybody is saying. See what suits your interests, what suits your understanding. So based on that, pick an optional very carefully and invest maximum amount of time in optional. You will be rewarded if you invest time in optional. Coming to test series for mains or even prelims for that matter, any test series is fine. The point is you have to write a lot of them and practice. So by lot I mean for mains maybe 20-25 odd tests should be fine. So pick any test series and consistently go through the entire cycle of their test series and try to learn from your mistakes. So whatever they're pointing out, improve here, improve there. Work on those inputs. If you're not working on those inputs, even if you write like 60, 70 tests, that is useless. So pick any test series and finish all the tests of their test series and try to learn from your mistakes. So these are some of the insights that I have developed over the years. I hope you may find some of them useful. If you find them useful, please incorporate in your preparation. Thank you for watching DKT.